Senadora Nancy Binay ang bagong tourism advertisement ng Pilipinas.
The ad that went viral showed May Parsons and her achievement as the British-Filipino nurse to administer the first COVID-19 vaccine in the world.
Ayon kay Binay na siyang chairman ng Senate Committee on Tourism, parang may mali raw sa mensahe nito. Ano rin daw ang koneksyon ng nurse, syringe at bakuna sa mga ibinibida nating tourist destination. Umaasa naman si Binay na babaguhin pa ang plano sa pagre-rebrand. Pwede rin aniyang ituloy na lamang ang branding na it's more fun in the Philippines.
There is no doubt that the Philippines has a lot to offer when it comes to breathtaking sights. In fact, our country has figured in so many surveys and reports as one of the world's top tourist destinations, and yet the number of our tourist arrivals stand to be better. Does the Philippine tourism program need rebranding? We discuss in this episode of the Chiefs. Welcome to the Chiefs. Ako po si Robbie Alampay. Kasama po natin dito sa studio here in Mandaluyong. Aming Kamintuan, Editor-in-Chief po ng Philippine Star. Ani, good evening.
Good evening.
Ano, pinag-uusapan natin ng turismo.
Oo nga eh.
I think this is also, tama-tama, di ba? May nakita natin, may pinost na ad sa UK featuring this Filipina nurse who was actually quite historic in terms of progress, May Parsons. And the slogan goes something like, we give the world our best.
We give the world our best. Pero, paano nyo ng COVID eh? At yung iba, sabi, bakit daw binibenta natin tao natin imbis na destination? So, nagkaroon ng ganyang controversy.
Hindi ko kagad naisip yun. I'll be honest, nung una naisip yun, and then you look at the person behind it and the people she represents. Sa totoo naman, our healthcare workers, we're very proud of them.
Yes.
Nung una, sa akin, that's pretty nice. They're seen, we represented very well, pero hindi ko naisip yung angulo na yun.
Saka, problema nga daw natin, we are running out of health professionals dahil nag-aalisan nga daw dito. So, that's another thing. Pero kumustahin ko mga travel mo? Compared to, not tourism, dumadami. But you have been abroad. Kumusta sa kanila?
It's the same thing, di ba? Parang you go out and then, like, I've been to Thailand recently. I was in Italy, and you land there and it's really like back to normal. And ngayong countries are reopening, first and last impressions last.
Paano yung
diba?
departure
Pagbalik mo
mo
dito, at saka pagkapalipad ka rin, let's just say the first and last impressions leave some things to be desired. That's the honest truth. I can certainly relate to a lot of the things we're seeing on social media. Pero yung big question really that's brought forth by all of this, as we try to reopen and promote our tourism, kailangan ba, sa tingin ba, kailangan natin i-update ang mga slogan natin, ang branding natin?
Yan na nga every administration halos, well, President Duterte tried to, di ba? Pero hindi naman siya nagbago actually.
Oh, because the last slogan that we're still using, it's more fun in the Philippines. I think a lot of people are quite caught with that. Di ba? It was effective nung unang linabas yan nung panahon ni Pinoy. To your point nga, during the time of President Duterte, they thought about tinkering with it, but ultimately, yan pa rin ang ginagamit natin.
Pero yung guest natin ngayon,
wow!
Gusto niya,
wow!
Philippines!
Nandun pa rin natin, natatandaan pa rin natin yung wow Philippines. But again, that just brings up the whole conversation about is anything broken that needs fixing? An interesting discussion ahead. We'll bring in our guest. Alam niyo na kung sino yung isa dyan. Right after a quick break, the Chiefs will be right back. Thanks for staying with us here on the Chiefs. With us in the studio, former Senator and Tourism Secretary Richard Gordon, and joining us via Zoom, veteran advertising and marketing practitioner Matek Villanueva. Matek is also the Director for Marketing and Communications of Ateneo de Manila University. Matek and Senator, parang all blue pala tayo ngayon. Ha?
Pero nalahian ako ng UP.
Good evening, welcome back, Senator.
Pero ang bandila natin na nililipad ngayon, hindi asul, hindi maroon, kundi yung bandila ng Pilipinas, because we're talking about Philippine tourism.
Of course,
Let
always.
me throw it to both of you, and that was how we phrased it kanina. As far as campaigns for tourism is concerned, is anything broken that needs fixing?
We've never been consistent. Malaysia, truly Asia, has been there for maybe 30, 35 years. Amazing Thailand has been there. Tayo palit ng palit. Wow, Philippines, I thought was very successful, if I may say so.
Sabi sa'yo eh.
Walang ginastos ng gobyerno. Pero pinalitan biglang ng It's More Fun in the Philippines, which was taken from Switzerland. And we paid millions for that. It's just ridiculous. Now, we have everything. Kaya nga, ano yung movie na nanalo sa Oscar? Everything and
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, we have that in this country. Any island can stand alone. Boracay can compete with Singapore. All right? Palawan can compete with Thailand. Papalakasin mo lang yan. And you have airports there now. Why are we putting up airports if we're not gonna open the Philippines to international air travel? And I cannot understand that. And hindi makukuha yan sa visa-free. Ginagawa natin sa China. We're not talking about numbers. We're talking about quality tourism. I was just talking with Jun Huban, whom was working with me in tourism. Kumukuha siya ng mga survivor series. Dinadala niya sa Caramoan, dinadala niya dati sa Palawan. Ngayon, meron siyang bago, Swedish. Katatapos lang. And if you say, people come here because we're an exotic island, marami na pupunta dyan. Kaya nga yung Wow Philippines ng araw, may identification. If you say, watch our whales, you go to Sorsogon. Wow Donsol, Wow Bohol. If you say, watch our water world, you can have anything. Warm over winter, you can say Boracay, di ba? Mainit, habang niyayelo kayo, nagtatanda, nagkukuha kayo, tornado dyan. You can wear our wares, you can do watch our walls, you can go, everything. Ando na lahat yan. And wander over wrecks, mga scuba diving, no? But you know, we are so niggard. I was just in Bohol. Alam mo nangyari? 2 tourists ang namatay doon sa Balikasag, which is a beautiful wall dive, because hindi pinapagawa yung ating decompression chamber. Isang part costing 280,000. I was there for record. Sabi ko, ako na magbabayad, gawin nyo lang. Because pag namatay tayo dyan, ang dami dyan, napakalaki.
Pinuposition pa naman natin sarili natin as a world-class diving site.
And people have said that. We have the best diving. Pero we're not consistent. Palaging we reinvent the wheel.
Now, Senator, let's bring in very quickly Matek. Matek, same question to you. For us, let's start with that. Our tourism campaigns lang muna. On the tourism campaigns level, does anything need any tweaking?
If you're going to base it on the numbers, Wow Philippines, in fairness, actually grew our tourism from below 1 million to almost 3 million in the span of 10 years. Pero, it's more fun in the Philippines, in a shorter span, the growth was steeper. So, you know, from a marketing point of view, marketing naman, simple lang naman kami sa marketing. Pag lumalaki, why break it? Why fix it? It's clearly working. Kasi if you see the numbers, pataas siya. It created additional 4 million tourists in a shorter span of time. So, but there are also other things that went behind it, di ba? In fairness to Wow Philippines, the focus was domestic travel. Whereas it's more fun in the Philippines, we try to talk more internationally, trying to bring in the foreign tourists because they tend to spend more. So, to say that did Wow Philippines work? Yes, it's more fun in the Philippines work. Question is, where do we want to take tourism now as an economic driver?
I guess that's a question to both of you. Where do we want to take tourism now?
I authored the bill. It's a law. Tourism must be the engine of growth of the Philippines. At that time, we knew tourism was going to be the biggest business in the world. It still is. Natamaan lang ng COVID. So, kahit na halos hindi ka mag-advertise, konting advertising na, pupuntahan tayo. But we have to clean up our act in peace and order. Paano pupunta ang tourism dito kung sira yung airport mo, ilang araw masisira? No? Paano pupunta dyan kung nakikita yung mga pulis natin, binibenta uli yung drugs? So, kailangan i-emphasize mo. Now, hindi naman ako, practitioner ako ng Procter & Gamble. I was in the Procter & Gamble in brand. No? Kailangan i-enhance mo yung brand mo. Papakita mo yung brand mo. So, you can say, you have a smorgasbord. You want scuba diving? You can go to the following place. You want wonderful beaches? You can go to Palawan, Bohol, etc., etc. You want old churches and antiquities? You can go to Manila, Bohol, etc. And then, the ease of travel. Pagbaba mo dito sa Manila, sasakay ka pa sa iba, aeroplano eh. That's why you should open up Palawan, dapat may international airport yan. Subic is an international airport that we're not using. Clark is an international airport, di pa na ma-maximize to the hilt. Bohol, Panglao is supposed to be an international airport. Konting trabaho lang, konting trabaho. Kahit na hindi ka gumalaw, malakas tayo. Pero sayang eh, saan ang pera dyan? You say, alright, dami dumating. Nasaan ang spend? Nasaan napunta yung billions? Because ang laki ng tubo sa tourism. One tourist can spend, several dollars already, no? And hindi nagagawa yan. Halimbawa, yung sinasabi ko kanina, nagpalabas sila ng movie doon sa, ng TV doon sa kwan. Ang dala nun, 100 hanggang 200 na nagtatrabaho doon sa sine. 3 hotel kagad ang puno doon. Ang 200 na trabaho ang susuporta dyan. And then marami pang ancillary na magagawa yan. So, it is a no-brainer. I think we're discussing beauty, andyan talaga. Pero wala naman tayong ginagawa na talagang, we're taking it for granted. We're taking it for
You're
granted.
talking about infrastructure, medyo matagal-tagal yung iba dyan, kahit repair lang of airport eh. In the meantime, people are saying, we might need to rebrand our marketing, tourism marketing. Ms. Villanueva, do you think there is a need to rebrand?
Well, rebrand what? Because the Philippines will always have an image.
No,
okay?
yung
So,
more fun
and
in
that-
the Philippines, for example, the slogan muna. Umpisa natin sa slogan. Do you think
Okay.
we need to change the slogan?
No, I don't think we need to change. Well, okay, let me put it this way. We need to find out what the tourists are looking for. Okay, I think that one reason they also did that, it's more fun in the Philippines, because they found out that one of the key benefits that tourists were looking for was fun. That was a very generic benefit, but at least it seemed to, fun kasi was big enough a word to be captured in so many facets. Yung sinasabi ni Senator na kung gusto mo ng whale watching, dito ka pumunta. So that word captured was big enough to capture things, and yet was able to capture the benefit that people wanted. Ako, like any practitioner, I want to know if it worked. It did. Do we need to change it? The tourists will have to tell us. If it's not broken, I think it still works, and I think we could keep it. If kasi it will take money to determine if we need to fix it. Kung hindi naman talaga majorly hindi naman siya sira. I think we can still use it. I believe kasi in repetition eh.
But you
Senator,
bring up
yeah.
you bring up an important point. A big part of it is understanding what are people looking for right now.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yep.
coming out of COVID, coming out of lockdowns, there's a particular context to
Yeah.
the incentives and the reasons for people
Yes.
wanting to go out right now. Do we have data on that? Is there research on the international level or even on the level of people coming here to the Philippines that gives us some insight on ano nga ba ang hinahanap ng mga turista ngayon?
I don't know if they have. They probably should. But if you were just going to look how people said the last couple of years, what you hear from a lot of online is they call it yung revenge tourism, di ba? Sabi nila, when everything opens up, this is their time to take back what was lost from them. See, that's an insight that they can do, pero still can draw it from the thing na have more fun in the Philippines. Take your revenge of fun in the Philippines. Alam mo, mako-context mo pa rin siya. No, I don't think they have data, but if you were to just look at how people are talking about tourism online, you can piece things together. May makukuha kang, as you said, valuable insights. Diba? You can already start to get a feel of what people want.
Senator, you've mentioned your Wow Philippines.
Yeah.
Kayo, sa tingin mo, this
Sa akin,
discussion on
in the world
rebranding.
today, reading Alvin Toffler a long time ago, it has happened. Bohol can promote itself. Na? Alam nila, ano meron kami? Meron kami Panglao Beach, meron kaming Chocolate Hill. Sorry, you can't eat them. Remember that ad? Wow. No, and then you have all the old churches, and you have dives, and you have whales. They can advertise themselves. Young people can do their business and say, I'm a tourist guide, I'll bring you there. Magagawa nila yan. But of course, there's an overarching problem, yung access, yung continuity ng rules na pag pumasok, hindi hassle yung tourist. Can they fly direct? It's too much to ask a tourist to go, pupuntahan ba nila yan? When you go to Bohol, marami ka na mapupuntahan. When you go to Cebu, marami ka na mapupuntahan. So really, from Manila, it's a stretch for you to go from Manila to go to Cebu when you can go direct to Cebu, when you can go direct to Bohol, when you can go direct to Panglao or to Palawan. No? So it's important to know na walang silver bullet. And always, it's the people na magdadala ng tourism. You have to have a culture of tourism. Now, pag sinabi natin ito, you know, in the law that I made, nakalagay doon, there's a tourism congress every year. Dapat doon sila mag-uusap. Dapat ang Department of Tourism, tatanungin yung kanilang mga players, o saan tayo pupunta? O anong gagawin ninyo? That's why I thought WOW was perfect. Because you can say, pag a little island like Donsol, Sorsogon, sumikat doon sa sa Watch Our Whales. Because pagbaba mo doon, andun na yung whales. Dadagdagan mo na ng konting hotel, konting pagkain, and then you can also go to Bicol, watch Mayon. So, in that cluster, marami ka na madadala. So, dapat, the regions can talk to each other and say, this is where we go.
So you're saying before tinkering with the slogan,
Right.
ayusin mo na to, lahat-lahat, marami-rami yan. Infrastructure, connectivity.
And they can even have their own slogan because pag nasira yung Philippines, at least Bohol kami. Hindi ba natanda mo yung Cebu ng araw?
Yeah.
We're an island in the Pacific.
Yes.
They were separating themselves from us. Remember how Subic zoomed up? Subic, di ba? Sarili namin yung Subic na lahat ginagawa, meron kami tourism. Domestic tourism is something very big that we must focus on. Do not poo-poo that because I'm sure Matek will know about 40 to almost 50%, I don't believe it's 30% of our tourists coming from Europe, coming from America, coming from Japan are Filipino balikbayans. So we haven't really done it. That's why we had a program before na wala lang kaming pera ng araw na dapat kayong mga balikbayan, magdala kayo, bring home a tourist. Alright? Volunteer 12, magdala kayong 12. And then you can start yung mga bed and breakfast. Kung wala kayo, yun ang dapat pukpukin. Yun ang talagang facilities na dapat gawin.
The dissonance seems to be obviously not in the campaign. Going beyond the slogans, a lot of things have worked.
Yeah.
But the dissonance is not there in the campaign. And it's not also in the experience on the ground. Diba? They go to any province, they love it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The dissonance is first touch point, our airports.
Correct.
You talked about this. Is there any way around that the first impression is really, I'm not landing in islands. I'm landing in an airport that
On the tarmac.
You know, when I was at Subic, we did FedEx, no? And we started doing charter. Ayaw na lang ako bigyan ng regular flights. Taiwan was the only one flying charters. I got Malaysia to fly, Hong Kong to fly. I don't know why. Ang sinasabi ko sa pag naglalako ako, you ride the aircraft, naka-swimming trunks na kayo.
Yeah.
Pagbaba nyo, wala kayong makikita yung squatter doon, tatalo na lang kayo doon sa beach. And that's what Cebu and that's what Bohol is all about. You land Bohol, wala kang makikitang squalor, makikita mo yung rural, rustic Philippines. So really, you have to fix up our airport na decentralized. Na everybody wants an airport, you know. But if you use the airports that we have, the local governments can really handle their tourism very well because that's income.
Matek, is there any way around this? I think we lost the signal from Matek. But I guess the question is there any way around that? I mean, because the tourism cannot stop, diba? Of course. But I've talked to people saying that, you know, you go to countries like Thailand and you get the feeling that my vacation does not end until nandun na ako sa eroplano, hanggang lumipad na yung eroplano. Tayo, pagdating mo ng NAIA, or in fact, pagsakay mo pa lang ng kotse at nasa traffic ka, papunta ka sa NAIA, you're already thinking, ayan, tapos na yung bakasyon ko.
Nadidismaya ka na.
Tapos na yung bakasyon ko.
But precisely, that's the allure of Thailand. Thailand is culture is different. Food is exact. They have perfected it. Talagang hospitality, nakaluhod, nagbibigay ng pagkain. May image, no? And yet, when you go there, you go to what? kanilang parang mayroon sila nung pareho ng bagyo.
Chiang Mai.
Meron sila, no? Meron sila nung Pattaya Beach. Marami pa silang ibang beach na mapupunta. Makita mo, everywhere you go, there is something. Gano'n rin sa Malaysia. Yun ang pinipilit ni Mahathir nung araw. Ginagawa niya ibang mga
Hill
lugar, yung
stations,
Langkawi, no? So, sa akin, it really is a culture that you have to build up. And it must be built up in school. Being proud of your country, showing what do we have here. And the other culture is, pag nagpa-fiesta ka, hindi ka gagastos. Papakita mo meron kang menu ng pupuntahan ng bisita mo. Halika, punta ka sa Olongapo. Tapos dadalhin, may beach dito, dito tayo kakain, pupunta tayo dito sa Masinloc. There is a place there where you can go up there na maganda, yung Putiput Island, mga ganyan. So meron kang agenda. So babalik at babalik.
Senator, kasama ulit natin si Matek Villanueva. Ms. Villanueva, sabi nga ni Senator, you have to love and be proud of your country. And I think it's a fair statement. All Filipinos are proud of everything in the Philippines except our airports.
But they love themselves more.
No, but is there a way?
I will have to agree that tama si Senator. Alam nyo, ang marketing, the fastest way to kill a bad product is to advertise it. Okay? So kung masama produkto mo, gusto mo mamatay na mabilis, mag-advertise ka. Kasi malalaman kasi people will, so matutuwa ang mga tao, susubukan nila para lang ma-disappoint. So when they get disappointed, you kill the product instantly. So yes, agree, we have to. But I think ang advantage ng Pilipinos sa tourism is, I think as a people, we're naturally hospitable. Likas sa atin yung ayaw natin yung mga tao hindi natin kilala. So pag nahalata niyo, pag may pinakilala sa ating foreigner, we try to be as open and familiar with them as much as possible because we really don't like strangers, di ba? Gusto natin kaagad chika kaagad tayo. And I think that's the other reason why we make tourism is a great business, is a natural business for Filipinos, I think.
Pero Miss
I think likas.
Miss Villanueva, even in previous administrations, I've been hearing tourism secretaries and tourism officials telling us na importante din yung marketing whatever you say about it. Napakalaki daw kasi ng budget, especially Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia. Ang gastos nila sa Bali, ang liit-liit ng percentage ng budget natin, the entire Philippines.
84 billion ng Indonesia.
Yes. And focused lang yan on a few Bali and Borobudur lang naman yan and a few areas in Jakarta.
But let me tell you, they also had a tremendous disaster. Nakabangon sila.
Yes, nakabangon sila even from the bombing.
Correct.
So what can you say
That's
about
the marketing
these suggestions? Yung marketing na yan na we need to increase our budget.
Well,
I'd like to agree first with Senator na let's improve first our product. Kasi mahirap mag-increase ka ng marketing budget tapos pagdating doon mabibwisit yung turista. Masayang, sinayang mo yung pera kasi I think the reason why malaki nila in-invest the likes of the Balis is kasi sulit Di ba? The more they push it, the more people go there, the more people are happy when they go to Bali.
Yes.
When they go see Borobudur, masaya sila So it's the same thing. When you ask me, where do you put the money first? In the product. Tama si Senator. Gandahan mo yung produkto. Tapos pamalita natin. That's sound marketing.
You agree, of course.
Of course. That's fatherhood, no? And Matek is right. All I'm saying is, in the law, basahin nyo, andun na lahat You create a culture of tourism. You attract, you assert, you embellish the product, and you make sure that everybody knows that. Local government must be part of it. You must have tourism guides that are well-trained. Andun na lahat yan. Gagawin na lang yan. Yun ang dapat gawin ng Department of Tourism. Pero, the local government now, with internet, you and I know, we can contact a travel agency abroad. You can contact a company there. In your next convention, do it here. We have the following things, di ba? And the ticket is here. You can land here in Bohol. You can have your convention in this hotel. Pwede naman gawin yan Pero, pagdating doon, sa airport, dapat talaga mabilis ang labas. Kung dito pa nga lang, paglabas mo dyan, traffic na, tapos na brown out ka pa. Hindi ka na babalik talaga, mahirapan ka na, matagal bago mo makonvince yan. So it's very, very important that the head and the rest of the body the rest of the country, the rest of the provinces, cooperate, and they should always have a timeout. Yan yung Tourism Congress. Saan tayo tama-tama, saan tayo mamali. Comparative advantage, talo tayo. Bakit? Thailand is the gateway to Asia from Europe. That's why they're very popular as the Europeans. Singapore is a hub. But they don't really have all those tourists.
Senator, very quickly before we take a break, you keep mentioning this law for a tourism congress. Natutupad ba yan?
Hindi.
Really?
Nagmimiti
So
sila.
in other words,
nagpo-promote.
there's a law and there's an allocation for a tourism congress, a multi-sectoral tourism congress every year.
Right. Tourism Congress is all the tourism players,
Stakeholders, yes.
stakeholders, and they meet and they beautify the product. They
And that's budgeted.
That's right.
And
it must be
doesn't
budgeted.
and it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. And that's how I did Wow Philippines before. I would call everybody in.
Okay.
Pinractice ko sila dyan. Oh, gagawin natin ito. Oh, anong pinakamaganda sa ball? That's why, remember, paglabas ng Wow Philippines ng araw, we chose several.
Itutuloy.
Chocolate hill. Sorry, you can't eat it. Wow Bohol. Or warm over winter. Boracay. Don't take your coffee. Baka makakuha mo yung white sand. Kala mo sugar. No? Marami kaming mga ganon eh. So, it's important that everybody talks and everybody says, this is where we go. And remember one thing. We marketed tourism to the country first. We made people proud. They went to Intramuros. Every 2 months, a region would go there and they would show off. They would show their hotels, they would show their dances, they would show their food, they would show their hotel. It worked. Since that time, they were already doing wow, whatever they want to do.
Sige. We still have more questions on that. We just need to take a break. Please stay with us. The Chiefs will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Chiefs. Still with us, former Tourism Secretary and Senator Dick Gordon and Matek Villanueva, advertising guru. Meron ngayong controversy. I want to toss this question to both of you. Si Senator Nancy Binay, sabi niya, nagkaroon tayo ng isang ad na nakita sa bus in the UK saying, featuring May Parsons, you remember her, the nurse who first
Administered.
administered the first COVID shot using the Pfizer vaccine, the first in the world, and later binigyan siya ng award ni Queen Elizabeth. And ngayon, ginamit siya sa advertising, tourism advertising ng Pilipinas, saying, we give the world our best, the Philippines. Pero sabi ni Senator Nancy Binay, bakit tourism campaign yan ang binibenta natin yung tao natin, especially a health professional, at nagkakaubusan na nga tayo ng health professional sa Pilipinas. What can you say about that? I ask you first, Datin, yung...
I'm sure na nasaktan lang siya because marami naman may bibigay na benta. Bakit ibebenta mo? I-focus mo doon.
Yes.
When I was Secretary of Tourism, we had a bus, a taxi na nakala doon, Wow Philippines. No? And that clicked. No? You know, I would have done Women of Wonder, May Parsons. Di ba? Wow. You know, Women of Wonder, Lea Salonga, World of Warblers. So you can create a characteristic of the Filipino that you can promote, and there will be no controversy. I think, and with all due respect to, but I'm not offended by it because talaga naman, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there are Filipinos. I just came from Hong Kong. Hindi ako makalakad. Pakuha na rito, pakuha na rito. And they're the best at what they do. You have drivers in Hong Kong na Filipino, nagda-grab. Andiyan lahat yan eh. And that's why you should use them to promote, come to the Philippines. Bigyan nyo sila ng bonuses. Magdala ka na, we do try to do it. Magdala ka ng 12, meron kang premyo.
Si Ms. Villanueva, your take on that controversy?
I'm not offended, but I don't think it's a well written. It's not a well conceived message. I'm looking at it from an advertising communications point of view.
Yes.
Sa akin kasi ang effective communication, since transit pa siya, isang tinginan lang. Dapat sa unang tingin, kuha mo kagad kung ano binibenta. Dito, I'm not sure kung ano binibenta niya.
Okay.
Binibenta ba niya?
Yung
It's not
syringe.
clear.
I mean, I just wanna, for the record, let's also clarify,
Hindi tourism yun.
whether you credit this or are critical of this, I think it's important to give credit where credit is due, or at least to cite where this is coming from. I think the Department of Tourism has said this is not an official DOT
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
This campaign came from the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Creative Communications.
Sure.
It's Paul Soriano. So just to clarify that, because people are
Yeah,
might be
sure.
thinking,
But it's trying. But see nga, what's the message? What is it selling? Di ba?
Nakalagay kasi doon, the Philippines.
Kasi yung problema ko sa kanya, bago mo siya maintindihan, magto-two-step ka. And one key, the cardinal rule kasi of advertising, you're only given 3 to 5 seconds to make sure that you've delivered the exact message.
yeah.
Well, I don't think there
So
was an
ito wala
effort to
mag-explain
advertise.
sa iyo eh.
Was that an effort to advertise?
Hindi,
I really don't know if that's the thing. The point is it's just generated. I wanted to ask another point, and this is to you, Ms. Villanueva, as a marketing person.
Matter,
Last year there was a very interesting insight from former Tourism Secretary Bernard Romulo Puyat. Sabi niya isang insight, and this is a generational thing now. So I'm wondering about that. Sabi niya isang insight ng tourism sector in this day and age for millennials in particular and Gen Zs. Sabi niya, one insight is tatawid yan ng kahit ilang bundok, di ba? And sisisid yan kahit ano, as long as pagdating sa dulo, Instagrammable. Which gives
Yes.
it a very
Yes.
particular generational insight. What do you make of that, Matek? And you know what? I mean, we all know we are Instagrammable, diba? Every corner of this country, every island we have. But how do you market in particular to this generation, millennials and Gen Zs, as a target sector?
Well, because they're so much, because they're able to show the world who they are. The first thing they want to be, unahan yan, yung what they call clout chasing. There's always the opportunity to be famous in an instant. So one of the things, if you were to market it, is mahilig sila ngayon sa what's hip and what's hot. Ano yung pinaka-famous? Like there was a time Pulag was the most famous, di ba? Everybody wanted to go to Mount Pulag, wanted to capture that moment wherein the clouds were there. And you're right, they will climb mountains, titiisin nilang walang banyo, walang ligo, basta makuha nila that moment and show it. It's because, why? Because they can, and it's what makes them tick, it's what makes them happy. Diba? It's
The millennials? She's talking about the
their
millennials.
generation, yeah.
Well, it is a borderless world, you know. Wala nang control. That's why I'm saying, the student of a high school in Bohol or even in Samar or anywhere else can get a computer and write individually a travel agent, another school, inviting them to come here, showing their own wonderful places, our beautiful culture and our character, and she can promote. Now, the National Tourism Agency must be the one to say, stay on message and constantly talk with the Tourism Congress, constantly talk to the guys and everybody else to make sure that they're on message. Hindi mo makokontrol yan. Hindi mo makokontrol yan. Because I think that what is important is promote the obvious. Magandang bayan tayo. Mababait ang mga tao. Ang gagaling ng nurse, they'll take care of you. Go to tourism, medical tourism. No? We can. Our nurses are superb. Our doctors are superb. Look at Korea. Tabing-tabingin na nga ilong eh. Pinupuntahan pa sila. Thailand, that's the same thing. You look at Turkey, you can get hair transplant in Turkey on the ship. That's part of tourism. So dapat mag-usap-usap yung Tourism Congress o kayo sa health, medical tourism kayo, o kayo dito sa food, and si Secretary Romo, mahilig sa food, palaging food ang pinag-usap. You can do that. Whoever, you go to Manila, you can go to any restaurant here, you can get Greek food, you can get Japanese food, you can Korean food, it's the best. But are they going to come here because of that? Or do you want them to go from here, you can jump to Palawan, and go into a different world altogether.
What does it mean when you say that we need to develop the tourism culture? What exactly does that mean at ground level for people watching, people thinking, how do I become part of this economy? What does it
I
mean?
promote tourism. I'm a Filipino. Kailangan may bisita ako, I must be on my best behavior. I must not cheat the tourist. I must take care of him, but I must not allow him to abuse me. I will tell him where to go, and I will tell him, these are the prices. Tama yan, hindi ko igagouch yung tourist. Yung mga gano'n, hindi na may bigla ka, dumating ito, tirahin na natin ito, ngayon na tayo papasok. No? So it's important that there is a consistent product. Yung sinasabi ni Matek na, isang message mo lang makukuha mo yun. Madami tayong gano'n. Madami tayong gano'n. One of my favorite pictures in tourism, in tuna, binibit-bit. There are a lot of fishermen out there who can go to Cotabato or South Cotabato and do that. No? But at the same time, ang importante dyan, masabi, they're safe. They're safe. You are pampered from the airport all the way down to your hotel, to the market, to anywhere you go. You'll be taken care of. And if the school says, you take care of the tourists, that's business for us, that's livelihood for us. You don't have to go abroad. You can make your money here, and you're going to have a culture
Sa
of tourism.
airport pa lang, semplang ka na.
Oh.
Pero, no.
Pero dapat pinapalabas yun, kinulong yun kagad. Binitay kagad.
May isa pang, meron pang isang observation na the most successful countries daw when it comes to tourism are those na may isa talaga siyang director and very high up, no? Na ang policy direction for tourism is set all the way from the top.
That's the purpose of the Secretary of Tourism.
So, ang problema dito kasi yung ibang Secretary of Tourism, yun ang sinasabi sa amin they have to coordinate with not only other cabinet members na hindi daw susunod sa kanila kundi sa presidente lang. And they still have to deal with local government units, which was an initial problem when they were cleaning up Boracay actually.
And
nagre-resist yung local government.
That's why we said,
so, wala daw tayong conductor sa ating national tourism
the
program.
law says
What
the
do you
policy.
say about that?
The policy is tourism must be the engine of growth. It is hereby declared that tourism is the engine of growth of the Philippines. And therefore, the Tourism Congress, the local governments, they should learn to cooperate with one another. They should learn how to talk to one another about prices, about, handling the tourists, about access, etc. Dapat diyan papasok, ang kukumpas diyan ang Secretary of Tourism.
Miss Villanueva, you think merong director na there is a merong
believe
bang
that.
nag-handle nationwide ng tourism policy?
It doesn't seem like, only because, they're, okay naman magkanya-kanya. Tama rin Senator na, okay yung magkanya-kanya because there's individual, but there should be merong umbrella. Kasi I just need to say this, the best marketing kasi is a great is a great tourism, is a great tourist experience. And the best advertising is word of mouth. Wala nang tatalo doon. You don't even have, alam mo sa totoo lang, you don't even have to put so much money in advertising. Kasi if you deliver as promised, pumunta sila dito, tama si Senator, na paglapag pa lang ng airport, pinamper mo na hanggang sa pag-alis. My goodness, you have the best advertising in that person. Because that person will talk to his friends, his relatives, and will be so excited. At saka yun, hindi mo siya binayaran, ha? Siya pa nagbayad sa iyo, diba, para i-advertise ka when you think about it. But yun na nga, you really have to start with a good product. Now, do we have a good product? I don't think so. Also because we really have, again, I agree, we have wonderful sites. We're naturally hospitable. We're naturally we're tourism people, and yet we've not scratched the surface of our potential. Sa totoo lang, for example, Bali. Beach lang. Walang gaganda sa beach natin, but people run to Bali.
To that point, is there anything that we're missing out on? Ito, madali lang i-market to, but we're not actually doing it. So let's take out what we've all already recognized. Islands are beautiful. Beaches are beautiful. The people are part of the appeal. Nandun na tayo. Are we missing anything out here? Is there anything else that we could be marketing?
The proactivity of the government, the president, the secretaries, especially the Secretary of Tourism and others, Secretary of Local Government and Interior, Peace and Order, you must be predictable, consistent,
Yep.
and there must be continuity in the policy. So pag dumating ang tourist, predictable ba ako sa airport? Oh, meron na kayong e-travel. Hindi ka na pipila doon. Alright? At saka, speed is the name of the game.
Yeah.
You go to the airport in Singapore, you have 9 minutes. You're out.
Yes.
Kasi dyan. And then when you ride the taxi, you go to Hong Kong. Bilib ako sa taxi sa Hong Kong. Nag-iiba eh. And now, they pay by telephone. Computer lang, no? And,
Cashless.
importante yan eh. Importante na tuloy-tuloy yan hanggang sa baba.
This is not a question. This is just a sharing. Kanina pinag-uusapan namin ni Ami, the experience of going out and then coming back home. Just a sharing that when you come back to the Philippines, until recently, no, I'm not saying it's still that way now, but until recently, you come to the Philippines and ang sasalubong sa'yo, bukod sa sasabihin ka, pag sakay pa lang ng eroplano, going to Manila, you're told, okay, wear the mask. Maybe that's a public health decision, wear a mask. And people, you see it on the line, people feel strange, diba? Why do I have to put on a mask and so on? But it's a public health matter, I won't pretend to be an expert there. Then you land in the airport, and you're literally greeted by men in fatigues. People in fatigues.
Ay, hapon yan.
Diba? But essentially, in this world that is caught up with revenge travel, the first thing that happens when you get to the Philippines is you're reminded of the lockdowns. Yeah, instead of being welcomed into welcome back, we all get to see each other. I'm not saying I'm just sharing a reflection
Toilets.
here, di ba? But even before that, pagdating dito, you're reminded of COVID.
Correct.
You're reminded of the lockdown, end of the
Wala na
pandemic.
yan eh.
And as we said, there's that dissonance on that doesn't match with people's expectations when it comes to finally we can reopen the world and visit other countries again.
There should be a messaging by the Department of Tourism and Department of Health. We're okay. We're following who? You're on your own. Somebody has a cough, you can wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask anywhere here in the country. But if there's something going on, you can go to this doctor right away, you can go to this hospital right away, and you'll be taken care of. To me, freedom ang essential pag you travel. Eh. You don't want to be insecure. When you ride a taxi, hindi ka malulukohin yan. Kailangan talaga merong ethic. That's why, if you notice, hindi na lang ginagawa yan. In the airport, there are taxis, may body number. Ako nagsimula yan. Hindi ka makakapasok doon. May prangkisa yan dyan eh. Ewan ko kung may racket doon yan. Pero ano nakalagay doon? Bayan ko, sagot ko. May pangalan yung taxi driver doon. Pag niloko mo yan, nakalagay doon, i-report mo itong taxi driver mahuli. So there's always accountability. Just as Olongo po, I had drivers had the name on the back, may color code, may body number. Everybody felt safe. Tourism is essentially that. And they are helpful. They're helpful. Are you lost? When you stop somewhere, anywhere, are you lost? Even in Japan, they will help you. You're asking about cultural tourism. You know why? Sa kanila, essential. Sa atin dapat, isinabi ko commercial dito ng araw, where tourism advances, poverty retreats.
Yeah.
So kasama ka dyan. Kung lumakas ang tourism dito, hindi na tayo maghihirap.
Yeah, Matek, we've been talking about, on the one hand, ang ganda ng experience. Once you finally get to your destination, maganda talaga, and it should be worth it. But the first and the final impressions really are terrible. If the first and final touch point is our airports and the traffic and so on, Matek, does that overwhelm the overall experience, or does the overall experience still come out as worth everything?
It depends on the person. Alam mo, kanya-kanyang pananaw yan eh. Meron tao na nabibwisit na. So again, as a marketer, pag marketer ka kasi na seryoso, you want to make sure that the experience is good from beginning till end. Kasi at any point, maninigate lahat ng good points mo. Wala eh. Talo ka sa marketer. Wala kang panalo. Especially in this day and age na digital, di ba? In a swipe, sira ka kaagad eh.
But do you have any idea kung paano mabalance? Because people are still concerned actually up to now. Dito sa atin, yung health officials natin are still worried about COVID. Do you have any idea? Siguro mga kahit ano lang na measures to balance these concerns with the need to draw more tourists kasi natatalo na naman tayo ng mga kapitbahay natin sa pag-attract ng tourists
Well,
actually.
what you can do is you can now contain. So for example, tulad nga yung sinabi, yung kung sa okay, ito let's identify key tourist spots. Yun bantayan natin from beginning till end, di ba? Kasi like yung sinabi ni Senator, like how Cebu did it before, di ba? They marketed themselves as an island. So very they protected it from beginning till end. You may not do it for everyone. So therefore, what you can probably do would be some tourists, very guarded or there's a specific process for tourists that they can do. Pwedeng ganun eh.
You know, I'm in the Red Cross, no? Sa totoo lang, sabi
Oo,
ko.
Red Cross.
Sa totoo lang, ewan ko kung magagawin si Maytag dito, no? It should look out. We have licked COVID. The world that says we're no longer in a very bad mode, no? So you treat it like flu. The moment you feel feverish,
like a cold.
so you don't have to
like a
advertise
cold.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's permissible. You may wear your mask. You don't make a big thing out of it. Yun ang sa akin, no? Magagawa yun eh. And you can say, smiling people. Besides, when you have a mask, hindi ka makatawa eh.
Oo nga.
Pangit eh.
May mask na nakangiti.
But let me tell you this, no? Another one. I'd like to go to another, if I may, if you'll allow me. I was in Bohol. Meron ng isang German doon. I even forgot him eh. I had to go to a wash-up suite, so to speak. I was going to go to a wedding. Doon sa Baclayan. Inayos yung church na yun, ha? Ni-restore natin from the earthquake. They took me to a hotel. Magandang hotel. Ha? Walang laman. Ha? Nakasara na since COVID. Nabagyo pa sila, umaha. Diyan papasok dapat ang Secretary of Tourism, ang Department of Tourism. Tulungan natin yan. Pautangin natin yan makabangon. O kaya, dagdagan mo ang promotion dyan. Ang ganda ng hotel. There was a little bit of result because the German guy whom I worked to give him citizenship, Congress gave, nakalagay lahat yung Rizal Memorabilia. May siga pa si Rizal doon na kinuha sa, I believe, Heidelberg. No?
Wow.
Ang ganda talaga. Maganda yung hotel. And, sabi ko, anong negosyo? Wala ho eh. So, I talked to the guy. He's here, medyo sickly. Sabi ko, we should really try to make a little noise and try to help you out because nag-invest eh. Pag nag-invest ka, it's just like the airport is assuming, nag-invest ka, tapos walang gumagamit. That is what I call the apathy, the indifference, the negligence. Really, in the airports, criminal negligence yan. Diba? Going to another one. Yung criminal negligence, mawawalan ka ng kuryente sa airport, masisira, wala kang continuity plan. I don't believe in contingency plan.
Yeah,
May continuity plan ka. Mayroon ka ng bus doon, tatakbo kayo sa Clark, tatakbo kayo sa Manila, walang mawawala. Imagine, mawawala ng bakasyon, Labor Day, mawawala yung bakasyon ko. Palipatin mo yung aeroplano sa Clark, makakalipad sila. Nobody really cares. You have to take the extra mile.
Yeah. And yet,
But they do already naman eh. Sanay na yata sila eh. I think people have learned to live with it. With COVID. Like for example, naglabas ng news na 9,000 plus increase ang People are still not worried. Why? Because it's not overloading the hospitals. You're not hearing people na fatal. So I think people are slowly psychologically getting used to it. So tama si Senator eh. Sasagayin mo lang. For that hotel, Senator, what I would do, I will get a great Pinoy vlogger to cover that. Alam mo, papatok yan sa mga bata. If you put it on a vlog, kasi ngayon everybody's just vlogging tourism now and everybody's just wanting to go so many places.
In fact, I want to write about it in Facebook. Puntahan nyo ito. Because maganda talaga yung structure. May swimming pool na malaki.
Yeah.
You have a fantastic view.
What's the name?
Nakalimutan ko yung pangalan.
But to that point,
I have it in my notes.
Maalala pangalan.
Tina, can you send it to me here? I'll show you.
Paano
It's a
mamamarket?
German who's old. He decided to retire here. Mahal niya yung basa. How can you ask for more? Tapos, hindi naman siya na umaangal. No? Ako umaangal. Bakit hindi natin tinutulungan yan? Andyan yan sa isang lugar na rural. Pero, malakas sila dati. Panay Germans, panay French ang pumapasok. Ang pangalan ay Peacock Garden. Ang may-ari, Hans Schoff.
Si Hans Schoff.
Hans Schoff. I've done my good turn today. I've been a Boy Scout today.
Okay.
Sige. We'll end it with that. Everybody that can help to promote Philippine
Yeah.
tourism. I guess that's that point. At the same time, as you pointed out, it's I don't think anybody will disagree that this is foundational, a key pillar to our economy.
It's our livelihood.
And yet the question on everybody's minds is, why doesn't it feel like that? Why doesn't it necessarily feel that way?
Pahabol na lang.
Ah.
I got educated through tourism.
Mm.
We were in Olongapo. We did not run nightclubs. My mother was in the Catholic Women's League. She ran restaurants. She ran supermarkets. She had 5 restaurants. And she kept improving and improving. We all got to good schools. Tourism means jobs.
Matek, we still have about 30 seconds. Final word to you.
Yes. Sorry?
We have about 30 seconds. Final word to you. You have 30 seconds.
Oh, well, no. I totally agree. Tourism is a key economic driver. But everybody has to work at it, whether you're directly part of it or not. Kung hindi man negosyo mo yan, tama si Senator, mahalin mo, bansa mo, protect the tourists, protect people who are bringing the money to the country. It's really important.
Matek Villanueva and former Senator and former Tourism Secretary Richard Gordon. Maraming salamat po sa inyong dalawa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat. Thank you for
Matek.
having us.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that is it for the Chiefs. Ako po si Robbie Alampay.
We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. I'm Ami Pamintuan.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.